Alrighty. Howdy ho, folks. It's your multiversal medium here for another insufferable episode of Harvestella. Last episode, we fought a organic robot thing that was weirdly here, but weirdly had control of the defense system here. And Geist did the finishing blow, killing it, and then quickly said, no life should ever be extinguished after killing a thing. And arguably probably killed things off screen, because when that boss was introduced, there were flying monster things next to it, which should be considered life, and, you know, it's bad writing all around. Skip ahead a bit, you know, bad writing, horrible design. Just a minute ago, Geist is like, you didn't time travel. The year is 4070 whatever. What year were you alive? And she's like, 2070 whatever. Which is really stupid because within 2000 years, none of the structures we're dealing with should exist. They should have fallen apart to the point where they're completely unrecognizable by now. So this entire plot point is stupid, as usual. And weirdly enough, when this entire plot point is to disprove the fact that Aria time traveled, it added the most credence to time travel, weirdly enough. And it's effing infuriating. Because even if we were to say she was like cryogenically frozen or in some weird stasis kind of thing, 2,000 years with this kind of infrastructure would have been destroyed, as would have been her means of stasis and life support. That's what I'm talking about. 2,000 years, nothing should be standing. And yes, I know IRL, we do have some remnants from 2,000 years ago, but those things are a unique form of material in a unique area, and possibly, depending on where you're at, upkept. Things like the Colosseum. Actually, I don't think the Colosseum is actually 2,000 years old, but is it? I'd have to look into that one. I don't exactly know how old the Roman Colosseum is. But yes, there are things from thousands of years ago that are still there. They're obviously like remnants of various things, but you need to realize the types of materials used, the environment they're in, and whether or not humans were constantly interacting with that. Were the things basically buried and not forced to constantly be in the elements, so on, so forth. We have a giant tower we're on. Wind is blowing in the background. Those are clouds. That means we get rain. This tower is made of metal. We see rust on it. This tower should not be here. This tower should have rusted and collapsed by now. It's been 2,000 years. So yeah, the writers can't write well, and I know I've said that basically every episode, but here's another showcase of that. They just made a big number for it to be a shock value thing, as opposed to grounding it in anything that could be believable to anyone who may know anything about this kind of deterioration. That could just mean that the pod was a time machine and I came into the distant future instead. Aria, why are you so obsessed with time travel? That would explain why everything is in such disrepair now. No, this level of disrepair in 2,000 years does not make sense. Like, what generator system, what electric system would last for 2,000 years? What energy source would last for 2,000 years? I can understand maybe the Forgotten Eden thing kind of being upkept, because it had the individuals like Jabberwocky constantly as robots doing various forms of upkeep on it. And maybe constantly just switching out parts and doing various tasks. How is this tower's like electrical generator system still going 2,000 years later? I can't believe they went with such a large number and just expects everyone to be okay with it. That is so effing stupid. That theory would be viable if the pod was a time machine. But it has no such function. It does not travel through time. Actually, guys, it kind of does. But in the same way a car IRL does. So time doesn't exist. It's just our observation of space and things moving through space. So something that moves through space does move through time. All things move through time because they move through space. So yes, it does, but not in the way she thinks. How could you be sure of that? Are you guys effing dumb? Is my entire party effing dumb? When we went to the frickin' Forgotten Eden, I think it was confirmed that Geist rode the stupid ship thing we were on to get there as well. I know during some cutscene it was confirmed that Geist used the pod ship, whatever they want to call it, to get here. That's what Geist did. So now that Geist is like, yeah, it doesn't do that, everyone's like, how would you know? You're only the individual who, as far as we know, owns the pod and has always worked the pod and has the keys to the pod and has done everything with the pod and is the one that parked the pod where you parked the pod. How would you know how the pod works? Like, are you effing serious? Are you effing serious? This is why I can't stand these characters. Like, seriously, like, they're all insufferable. Not a single one will talk properly and react properly to any cutscene. This is so bad. Because it was we who designed the pod. We as in who? Royal we. Royal we. It was just me. In the end, time travel was never possible through human science. Okay, but you're not human. And humans forbade us from researching it. It was one of the 3 major thought regulations we could not break. Do you find it effing fascinating that, weirdly enough, in an earlier cutscene, Hein used the term prime directive, which is effing dumb because Hein should not know the term prime directive. But the second we get to a robot discussing their prime directives and what they can and can't do, the robot uses the term thought regulations. Are you effing serious? Why would humans forbid that? What exactly are your kind capable of? Thick thighs, crushed lies. You do not want to go into the time travel nonsense because it gets weird and stupid. And maybe it would become even as stupid as EDF. What is it, like 6 or 7? Like, whatever EDF that kind of came out vaguely recently, where actually you play through the entire game and it's like, isn't this just the earlier EDF game, but like updated mechanics? Like, it's 1-to-1 the earlier EDF game. And then, like, after you finish that campaign, you just time travel back to a different universe version of that entire campaign. And then you realize you're in for, like, several versions of this campaign, time traveling back and forth, because you're in a time travel arms race with the aliens. And then you go against, like, Alien God. So, like, let's not talk about time travel. This is stupid. By the way, I described that EDF way better than the actual game is. That game sucks. Do not play it. That game's horrible. I'm sorry, what? How did I end up in the past then? Oh my effing god, Aria. He's saying there is no past, there's only present. Shut up, I need to slap her. I got caught in a time disaster, didn't I? I can't believe this stupid bee is supposed to be our smart, quote unquote, scientist character. She has never once acted it in any way, shape, or form. She is so effing stupid. That's a flaw in your theory. There's no such thing as a time machine. There was no time disaster either. You never time traveled, Aria. You're not a person from the future who has come back to the past. But rather a person from the past who has just moved forward in time in a linear fashion. Wow, Aria. I think this goes well beyond ILF for those that want to date you. Like, you are, what, 2016 years old, minimally? Because we know this is a JRPG and everyone's 16, right? What? But how? What about Heinz time? What's that then? Matrix. Did you not pick up on that? It's simple. You didn't travel through time. You traveled through space. Yeah. That only leaves one answer. The star we are all on right now, and the one where there is sees light in the castle of illusion. Are two different planets. Okay. I'm not gonna lie. I really would have preferred like it being a Matrix thing. I know I was joking about it, but I would have preferred it. Because with that being the introduction to, there are two different planets, completely different. That means we're basically on like probably the closest hospitable planet. And considering there's nothing beyond the continent we're on, humanity has never grown beyond that continent. It's probably a very small planet, I guess. Like, there's so many ways to break this down that it's effing stupid. Like, let me put it this way. Cornello dolls. I mentioned it last episode. Why is the alien species from the other planet having dolls on this planet? Hey, the weird beaked monsters, horse things, or all the monsters that are recolors here. Why are they on the, like, planet we started on? I highly doubt they also moved various species when those species are known to be aggressive to humans when we're trying to save humanity. Like, yes, I can comprehend a terraforming a planet to have life or whatever, but like that goes a bit too far. You're adding the equivalent of monsters that hunt humans when trying to save humans. So that doesn't make sense. Let's add the fact it is a different planet. Gravity. Gravity ranges would be different. We might not, considering we grew up on frickin' the other planet, coming to this one, we might not be able to handle the gravity. This is a major issue when people are talking about colonizing other planets in general nowadays. They're like, yeah, if we colonized Mars, the infants and stuff born there would have certain, not exactly birth defects, but unique aspects to them that means they may never be able to go to Earth because of the gravity difference. There are so many flaws with this logic. And I know this is constantly usually hand-waved in a majority, and I mean a majority of sci-fi stories where it's like multiple planets or whatever. But I want you to think to the world map in the other world map we can explore. It's nothing. And we're told that's the entire planet. There's only the governance of the Castle of Illusion that isn't even there They just send out newsletters and spam letters constantly. They don't even keep up on their own experiments. The unicorn got out randomly, and the dude forgot, like Dianthus forgot that was an experiment until suddenly it's revealed, oh yeah, you're an experiment. Because of plot holes. This is dumb. Like, legit, it would be a better plot if these robots were set to try and re-terraform Earth to be livable after the disaster of this Red Queen, and having humanity, the same members of humanity, legit the same members of humanity that initially were still alive during this, in a cryogenic sleep / stasis where they're experiencing a Matrix world over and over. That would have been a better effing plot. And we just somehow during this one cycle broke out. That would be a better plot. And I don't expect a good plot from these writers. They've never done anything good. I'm just saying there's so many issues with this. I don't know why they chose it. Like, you don't hear anger in my voice anymore. I'm so tired of the bad writing. I am so tired of the poor choices. I am so tired with all the issues this game has, from like the foundation upwards. At so many points during the writing process, at so many points during the design process, the devs needed to have someone to freaking say, that's not good, or someone needed to tell the writers, this is effing dumb. How did they get away with it? That's the thing I'm constantly amazed by. How did this get greenlit? How did they get away with this? How did someone look at the final product and be like, yeah, this is good? There's nothing good here. Different planets, or how can that be? Different planets, who cares? This planet is lost Gaia. Yeah, always got to use the term Gaia, sure, why not? It is the Earth where humans originated, in which they abandoned during what was then called the Common Era. Okay, can we talk about... Oh my effing gosh. If it's Earth, you could just say, this planet is what was known as Earth. Where did the term Lost Gaia come into? You could say something like, via the program in which we were designed for, this planet was classified as Lost Gaia. But Aria, you may know this planet as, and she just whisper, Earth. And that would have been fine. That would have been this exact freaking 2 dialogue boxes cutscene. That would have been better. That would have been way more gripping too. It doesn't take much to change this horrible writing into something competent. It just showcases they didn't even put that minimal amount of effort when trying to. It has been 2,000 years since humanity left. This is historical fact. It cannot be reversed. Like, if we add on the fact that it's 2 different planets, as opposed to the Matrix thing that I mentioned, that whole effing line by Aria's father about being livestock or whatever completely misses its mark. You could argue that's what he meant in the Matrix scenario / plotline that sounds better than this. But no, it's just a line that doesn't make sense, and it's a figurative allegory that doesn't make sense because he's just talking about the extinction and how the world's being destroyed. I hate this. I hate this so much. Humanity since suspended its research into time. Time can only travel from the past to the future. What has happened cannot be reversed, and history cannot be rewritten to suit anyone. Okay. Aria. The world you lived in was lost 2,000 years ago. Okay, so... there's a lot of things we can extrapolate on this. If we're even just considering stupid, let's actually play by the rules kind of thing. 1. Skywells. I mentioned it last episode because it's a one note done line. Are skywells on this planet or the other planet? Seriously, what the F was with the skywells line? There's nothing there. They just put in a random buzzword thing to keep you like, oh, this is fantasy, and then just dropped it. Like, they didn't world build around it whatsoever. It's not meant to be anything, and there's no way to even have it based in anything now that we have 2 different planets. That line legit is gibberish. It doesn't make sense whatsoever now that we consider it this way. 2. The spring sees light. I highly doubt with the pod, Geist could move an entire research facility. I could argue he could move the automata. I don't know how Geist did it, but like I could argue that Geist could move that prediction automata with the pod, maybe in a storage thing. That's fine. An entire research facility that arguably was the size of a small city or whatever. How did Geist move that? How did Geist get that there? Why would Geist put that there? Even Geist mentioned they didn't like what was going on there. Why would that suddenly be attached to the spring seas light? It's from a different planet. Why was it suddenly there? So even if we follow the logic of how this game wants you to think this is what's happening, it still doesn't make sense and it's full of plot holes. This game with its gobbledygook buzzword logic still doesn't make sense when you look at it from the gobbledygook buzzword logic. That's how badly written it is. At least chapter 6 is done. Hopefully chapter 7's short. Huh? But what? Wait, I don't understand. Don't bother, there's nothing to understand. You're saying that the time I lived in was 2,000 years ago? And right now is 2,000 years later? I don't know why she added that last sentence. The first sentence exactly is the same as the second sentence, whatever. Exactly. You haven't time traveled. You're not a person from the future who has traveled back in time. If anything, you came from the past. Guys, you literally just said that last cutscene. You don't need to reiterate, whatever. But wait, then does that mean that Aria is 2016 years old? Yeah. Yeah, she's 2,000 years old. No. No. Granny. That's ridiculous. People can't live that long. Shut up, loser. I'm certain you don't even know math. That is correct. As your cells divide repeatedly, the telomeres will wear and die out after 100 years at most. I'm certain this is them trying to like wiggle in some actual science-y stuff to seem more grounded in reality. When everything I just talked about last cutscene before the chapter change showcases they can't do that. That is the human lifespan. So, that is why we were built, to ensure that humanity survives into the future. You know how effing stupid this is? Built. I like how Thick Thighs Crush Lies is just now realizing they're robots when I think it's... Even Hein said prime directive, a specific robot terminology. But I bet you anything Hein's gonna be surprised at robots too. This is effing stupid. But if we take into account the omens, the set, were made to ensure humanity's continued existence, why were they stopping them from thriving? You could argue humanity, when it thrived, almost went extinct on Earth. But that's just not taking into account the fact that the reason humanity almost went extinct on Earth was a cataclysmic event of a meteorite crashing into Earth and causing cancer dust. It's completely hand-waving the fact that humanity basically almost went extinct because of this meteorite. And because of this meteorite, they weren't able to do anything and went into World War III and so on and so forth. But apparently logic and learning and knowing things is bad? Because logic, learning, and knowing things equated to humanity not going extinct. This is so effing stupid. What does that mean? I hate everything. We set who you call omens. Can we just call them set from now on? It's been used enough. Are a model of high-level artificial intelligence. In other words, we are a form of intelligence that was built by humans that surpasses human intellect. I mean, in some ways, but not others. You're an artificial life, like Heinz machine? What? Heinz machine? Hein has an AI since when? What? No, BS. Like, okay, let's say frickin' if I did romance Hein and actually did his subquest, side quest or whatever, we find out he's trying to make a basic form of AI. Sure. That should, like, that option should only show up if we've done that. I've not talked to Hein since doing the Summer Seas Light. He didn't have an AI anywhere during that entire quest line. And let's be effing honest, if it's such a vital part to the effing plot, he should have had it by the time I did the Summer Seas Light. No, this is effing stupid. If it's a vital part to the plot and a vital part to his character when he's moving through the main plot, it shouldn't be delegated to effing side quests. No, that line is dumb. It should not be here. That makes zero effing sense. That is bad writing and bad planning on their part. Screw these guys. You're an artificial life. Like those giant puppets we saw in the Divine Seaslight Cave in Phantasmagoria. See, that's what I should have related it to. That would have made sense and been perfectly acceptable because it was a part of the main plot. Why did Heinz anything come into as one of the options, I could say? What the absolute F? Like, seriously, what the absolute F? I am genuinely upset about that one thing popping in because it showcases they just didn't plan anything out. Those are fairly antiquated models, but yes, they're along the same lines. This can't be true, you... Okay, sorry. If I was going on a tangent, I completely lost it. A bug landed on me. I dealt with it, and I was trying to find where it came in. So if I was going on a tangent about how much I hate this game and how horrible it is, it's gone. I don't know what it is. That being said, let's continue this horrible dialogue that doesn't make sense. It is true, Aria Lebenthal. We are the latest generation of high-level artificial intelligence that your kind created by their own design. Although we are far more high-spec than the ones from your time period. People of Lost Gaia entrusted us with the preservation of humankind. I'm so pissed that they call it Lost Gaia as opposed to Earth when they've already just said it is Earth. And they don't give a reason of calling it Lost Gaia. And like how I introduced it, that would have worked better. This is stupid. That is also documented in the Paradise Journal. Okay, sure. in order to attain the continuation of the species, humanity, which was on the verge of extinction, outsourced most of its intellectual and scientific development to artificial intelligence. Hey, so like Jabberwocky, if you're a part of like a series of AI meant to preserve and enforce the continuation of humanity, how come your guys' like only means of knowing human anatomy is an old book going over Leonardo da Vinci's sketches of humanity? Why don't you guys just have a database of how humans work? Can we talk about that? When we came here and our character was passed out, the one dude just came in with an old book that just had a sketch by Leonardo da Vinci in it. And we're supposed to say these dudes were supposed to be working towards the betterment and continuation of humanity as a whole. I mean, I know the set mainly were, but these dudes should have been a part of that as well. It's effing dumb. These dudes should have, if they're AI, a basic file structure of human anatomy and how they work. They thought that AI would be able to figure out a better way to preserve humanity with their superior intelligence. So they decided to outsource one of the most basic biological functions to the set, the continuation of species. They outsourced our continuation to AI? I can't believe it. Would humans come to such a decision? I mean, depending on the sci-fi thing, yes, but also this is really stupid. All the humans needed to do was have the AI transport humans to this other planet, have the AI terraform the planet, and then the humans could just set up on the planet. I don't understand why it's becoming like this. What is this massive leap in logic and how this works? Why? This is stupid. The Paradise Journal is unequivocally accurate. It is locked with AAA protection to prevent tampering. Okay, like Jabberwocky, why do you have AAA freaking clearance? Why is it a physical item when you're AI? And like, if you have AAA clearance, why were you deferring to another freaking dude of your models? Also, who on the team for the AI gave every single one of these AI robots heals? But wait, does that mean it was your kind who kept me alive all this time? That is correct. So then you should be able to answer this too. What happened to everyone else? They're dead. In 2,000 years, you dipshit. You're right, I could answer that. I hate this. Because when Geist walked in, it's like, hey, I'm Geist, I'm still alive. No, I'm a different one, by the way. It was when Aria's like, what happened to my parents? And Geist is like, I can answer that for you. But let's move forward and you'll find the answers you want there. So we moved forward and now she's asking directly, guys, like, what the heck happened? He's like, I could answer that. And you have the right to know. So I intend to tell you. Like, dude, just say it. You could have said it right then when you first came in. You don't have any objections to that, do you, Dianthus? Why are you deferring to Dianthus? Like, I hate this. What is this back and forth? No, let's invite them to the orbital cradle. Orbital cradle? I feel like I've heard of that somewhere before. Yeah, it was mentioned at some point. Who cares? You should understand all of our plans when you get there. No, I don't think I will because your plans are stupid. I hate this. So, I would like to reiterate. Geist walked in, says, I can answer what you're asking, and Aria was asking what happened to her parents and everyone. let us up here. Now we know she's accepting she didn't time travel, but she's still asking what happened to him. And Geist is like, oh, well, we're gonna have to go somewhere else. This is effing dumb. I hate all these characters. Even when they're interacting with one another, they're insufferable. Okay, where is the orbital cradle? Leave Lost Gaia and go back to the original planet. Then head to the Castle of Illusion. Okay, sure. Whatever. Why did we need to come here? Oh my effing god, why did we need to come here? What did we gain from this freaking computer that we had to interact with it? What did we gain from the computer? We're told like it has this like story thing on it, and all we got is... We didn't get anything from the computer, actually. We got 0. We got nothing from the computer. Holy crap, we got nothing from the computer. I crap you not, there was not a single thing we got from the computer. Like, Jabberwocky interfaced with it. And then... basically... Jabberwocky just told us the time. And we used that as the jumping off point for the rest of the cutscene. We got nothing from the computer. We didn't have to come here. There was no reason. Oh my effing gosh. Are you effing serious? That is 2 dungeons here that we didn't need to do. Oh my effing god. Oh my effing god. It's been an episode. I know the entire episode's been a cutscene. Oh my effing god. I am so infuriated. I'll talk to you guys in another episode of Harvestella or something better on my channel. Shiz. Oh my god. Why? Until then, don't even pray for me. It's too effing late. I'm still trying to beat this game, and as you can tell, it's insufferable. Don't even pray for me. I am damned from bottoms of my feet to the top of my head. I am damned to finish this game. So feel free to like, comment, and sub if you enjoy me going through my own personal hell of horrible writing. I'll talk to you guys later, but until then, ciao. Oh my effing gosh. There's no reason to be here. I bet you effing anything. If they ever touch on the fallen paradise thing with the angels with wings or whatever, it's going to be happening on the other planet and they're not supposed to be there because why would they be there? Or we're never going to get any introduction into what the heck that boss was. And guys just saying, oh, the so-and-so of whatever, who's a what's it. And it's just like, no, they could have had just a defense AI system. That's all they needed, that we somehow triggered. I can't believe they introduced this weird angel thing, and there's no effing way that there's some way, shape, and form they tie it back to it being relevant anywhere from here on, storytelling wise. They wrote a boss that has no reason to be here as a weird tidbit. This is so fucking stupid Final Fantasy writing. Oh my effing gosh.